What's up, everyone? I'm Andy Coronado, and tonight I'm joined by my gang of serious grown-ups, Elias Gregoriadis and Hadi Rafael. How are we doing? As I said we are grown-ups. We are going to act like grown-ups. We are going to talk like grown-ups, and we are going to stay disciplined, which means no cursing before 5 minutes. All right. So
what kind of grown-ups have a swearing limit put in? This is bullshit.
You know, my answer to you is, yeah, I was gonna say my answer to you is fuck you, man.
Damn it, guys! All right, Elias, just close the channel. We'll restart. Anyways, emotions are running high because the Habs game 3 tonight. I asked the gang to wear their Habs stuff, but of course
I have my Canada stuff.
So they're gonna be. It's game 3, and okay. Thank you, Elias. Thank you so much for having a banner about Canada.
I have this and this. And
Montreal Canadian.
This.
Wear the jersey, baby. But anyways, it's game 3. We know everybody's excited to watch it against another team. I'm not sure who they are. But before the puck drops, we got a lot of soccer to talk about.
You have the jersey, and you're the only one that doesn't know who the Habs are playing against.
I don't know who the other team is. I just did it for the fad. But before we dive into the fun stuff, quick little message for y'all. If you like The Ball is Round, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all the notifications so you never miss an episode. It really helps the show grow and keeps us bringing you the most content every single week. Don't forget, drop your thoughts in the comments. What did you make of CF Montreal, Rose FC, or FC Super de Quebec's performance? What needs to change? What stood out to you? We read the comments and we want to hear from you. Make sure you are also following us on all of our social media for daily updates, clips, and breaking takes covering everything CF Montreal, Rose FC, and FC Super de Quebec. All right, we got a packed show tonight, so let's stop wasting time and get right into the action. First off, we got the one Montreal team that won this weekend. We got the Roses FC. Roses FC hit the road this weekend for their first away match of the season against the Ottawa Rapids and came away with all 3 points in a hard-fought 2-1 victory. They're still undefeated. They are still undefeated this season. Robert Sotoyo's squad continues to show growth week after week, building momentum and proving they're becoming a stronger, more confident side with every match. Boys, let's break it all down. Let's go ahead and look at the lineup of the game. At goalie, we had Anna Karpenko. The back 3, we had Stephanie Hill, Lucy Capadana, and Seto. In the midfield, we had Megan Sauvé, Charlotte Bibot, Chloe Minas, and Lisa Pechersky. Then we had the start of Evelyn Badou, her first start, I believe, Tanya Boychuk, and Elise Bennett. So, what did you guys think of the game overall? 2-1 victory. Tell me what you Hadi, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts of the game?
I would say a professional win in a way where, the Roses did exactly what was expected of them to just take the 3 points. I don't think it was the best game they ever played, but what I liked is that when they scored and they got the lead, they got the 2 goals, they made sure to keep the lead and to be just professional, making sure that the ball was keep possessions whenever they could and just make sure not to get scored on. Unfortunately, they did, but they played very, very well. And hats off to Robert Rositoyu, who did great changes throughout the game. I think he saw the game very, very well. His substitutions were spot on. I really liked the way he handled the game.
Elias, what was your take on the game overall?
I think it was weird because I got kind of whiplash because I think it was the best 45 minutes they played all season in the first half. They were fantastic. And then the second half, they did almost everything in their power on both sides of the ball to make their lives more difficult than it needed to be. They could have killed the game off at least 3 or 4 times. And then in the last 10 minutes, they could have lost. So I think the dichotomy between the two halves was really striking and something we haven't really seen this season. So I hope that's something that gets addressed. But overall, right, like Hadi said, it's one of those wins that, you look back at the end of the season, and if you win the title, you look at those wins and you go, those 3 points is really what put you over the hump.
it's very easy to say that they had a great game 2-1 because it was a victory, and also that Tani Boychuk got the 2 goals. And it just, to me right now, it feels like, as you guys mentioned, the second half there were maybe some things that didn't go right, and it almost felt like I don't know if you guys sensed it, but I did sense a little bit of frustration from the Roses as I saw a little bit of finger pointing. Um, but there was also a lot of good things, as you mentioned. There were the substitutions were done at the right time with the right people. Now, when we're talking about substitutions, Hadi, I've said it week after week this season and last season too. I'm not completely convinced with Laurie Thibault and what she does on the field, and I don't know how she fits into Robert Rossito's scheme. Honestly, I can't even define her position. I don't really know if she's a striker, a winger, a midfielder. I don't know because she's not the fastest player. But I mean, obviously, she wasn't the only substitute. But again, those are the kind of substitutes that when we talk about impactful and bringing something to a game, I don't see much from her. Same with Haley Whitaker. I said it last week, and you guys killed me about it, right? But again, don't see much of an impact being done. Now, is that a bad thing? Not necessarily, because again, they won, but there's still a lot of questions to be asked. But I do want to talk about the top and the flop as we do every week, right? Um, to me, it would be easy right now to say that the top was Tani Boychuk because she scored the 2 goals. But I'm not gonna say that because I don't think she was the top. I do think that it's great that she scored those 2 goals, but she was at the right place at the right time, which is what a striker ultimately does. But if you watch the rest of the game, did you guys like Tanya Boychuk's game overall? We talked about her being kind of a flop in the past few weeks. Did you guys?
No, you thought that she was a flop. I didn't think so.
But no, what did you guys think of Tanya Boychuk's performance? Do you guys think she's kind of getting back in the rhythm? Do you guys think she still has a long way to go? What are your thoughts on that?
I'm going to give her my player of the game for one simple reason. And it's the same reason why I didn't like her game last week. It's because, you have such talent in that position. You cannot afford to be missing chances that are right there. And when you look back at it, and the reason that they drew, misses like the one that Boychuk had is the reason that they ended up leaving. Yeah, it's not the only reason. There's 100 other things that are out of Boychuk's control, namely on the defensive side of the ball, that led to them drawing. But if Tanya Boychuk scores that, something that she would probably do a million times in practice, then we're not having that conversation. For the exact same reason, she was extremely clinical. That goal was incredibly well built, right? And it's, again, she put the cherry on top, but that's what's expected of her. So I can't knock her for not doing what's expected of her and then not give her flowers when she does. So I think she's my player of the game for the simple reason that she was placed well. She did her job, and even the second goal, which was more a mistake from Ottawa's part than anything that the Roses did.
She made the run. She was still there.
You still have to make the run. You still have to put the pressure on the keeper, and you still have to put the ball in the back of the net. When there was 2 defenders on you and the goalie who's now desperate and willing to do anything, and it's a bit not as straightforward as it may seem. So I really do like Tanya Boychuk's game, and like I said, right, it's super competitive in that position right now, and you kind of have to at least perform. If you're not having the most impactful game, you have to do stats. You have to put up stats. If you're not having the stats, you need to put up a really strong performance on both sides of the ball, and I think she did that. I think she was probably the most important forward. And so, chapeau.
Okay, so she's your top.
I would add, I just to help Elias and to comfort him with his choice. I love the dynamic between her and Pechersky. I love it. I think they're getting along very, very well. You see it on the first goal. It was really, really nice. But she wasn't my top. My top was Megan Sauvé. I loved her game. She was everywhere. She won so many balls. She was playing so well all the time. And even when she made, some mini mistakes, she was running back, making sure that she was caught up with any mistake she would do. I loved her game. I just hope that at one point in the scheme, in the Rositoyu scheme, she's going to have chances to go forward. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case last game, but I loved her game. I think she couldn't have done more, and she was perfect on most of of the things that she did.
I would say my top would be, and I think I chose the same top last week, but I'm going to say it again, is Anna Karpenko. I mean, what a
Yeah,
change.
Yeah.
And not just because it was a good game, because I think she did have some incredible stops, but because of the massive leap she's done from last year to this year, her decisiveness, her confidence in the runouts of the goal. She's just another player, and she continues getting better week after week, and she's keeping Roses FC in the game, even when the momentum is going the other way. She wakes up at that moment and says, "It's my time to shine," because the whole game, the game's been going the other way, and instead now it's on her. So to me, Anna Karpenko continues to get better, and I hope she continues this way because honestly, I saw a lot of comments online that were saying, "Why not give her a national call up? Why not get she actually is deserving of one, that she is playing really really well. Obviously, she has to put in together a lot more games with those kind of performances, but I think she's well on her way, and we'll
yeah,
see. In
she did very well. I agree with you, Andy. But at the same time, Dajne did very well too. So
It
yeah,
was a
on
really
the
good game
other
battle.
side,
Both goalies,
Dajne was really really good. Honestly,
it,
yeah,
so
both goalies played
yeah,
really impressively.
now we're gonna go. Obviously, we set our top. Now we're gonna go to our flop. Now, Hattie, I'm gonna kind of go against you because I know you gave a lot of praise to
yeah.
Robert Russell told you about the subs, and I agree they were done at the right time. Kind of took out players, but who did much of anything as in the substitutes?
But
Those that came in.
the thing is, Andy, there was a great change from the Ottawa coach Peterson. Peterson, I forget her name, but she made a great change where the right back that was Chu was
Mhm.
playing in the middle, and when she switched Chu to the middle, it created a lot of problems for Montreal Roses, and that's why I think the Roses' second half wasn't that good because Chu really took over the game in midfield. And so I don't think it was a problem of substitutions. I think it was a problem of the the change of scheme from the Rapids
They
that
didn't adapt.
was
Roses
they
FC
weren't
didn't.
able. Yeah, they weren't able. The players weren't able to adapt on the pitch.
But that's what I
That's
mean, right? That's why to me is the flop. Because as a sub, you know that there's going to be changes. You know that the coaches are gonna, as they try to push, push towards scoring a goal, the equalizer, or the win. The
interesting.
players do have to adapt. They have to kind of catch up quickly. We can talk about Haley Whitaker, Noemi Paquin, Olivier Mbala, Karim Chang, who you said was your flop last week.
Yeah. No. I agree with Chan. Now the thing is, Bala, I think she did very well when she came
Oh,
in.
the level didn't drop with her. I will say that it stayed the same. Yes.
I think it was even better because by putting Bala on the pitch, he added physicality in a central defense that you didn't have with Capadona. She's a bit bigger, Bala, and I think it helped very, very much. I think that if you had Capadona still on the pitch on those last 10 minutes, pretty sure they would have scored. Pretty sure. Not
Now,
that I don't like Capadona. I think she's great. But for this game, I think Mbala was the right change, in my opinion.
in my opinion, Capadonna should be the captain of this team because of everything she did last season. But anyways, we're gonna move on. Hadi, Elias, give me your flops of the game.
Yeah, go ahead, Elias.
I'm torn, and it breaks
Yeah.
my heart. I'm torn between Lucy Capadona and Steph Hill.
Not good.
I don't think either of them had a good game. I think again, look, what Steph Hill brings in possession is impossible to quantify in terms of how important it is because that diagonal ball is so potent.
Yeah.
It is, and her distribution is incredible. But she had a rough time.
I
Right,
think the
Megan
whole
Sauvé.
team had a rough time in the second half,
Megan
right?
Sauvé was pushing a bit further forward, especially in the second half, and Steph Hill was kind of left on an island by herself a couple times, especially when Chu made the swap to the right side. She looked even more uncomfortable, and she ended up taking a yellow, and she was lucky to not get a second yellow because there were a couple times where she was in a
You're
pretty hairy
right.
situation, and she kind of got out of it. I didn't love her game, but at the same time, Capadonna has had two questionable games now in a row.
Yeah.
And these are two players that, and that's why I'm kind of torn because we know how good they are, and they're two of the best central defenders in the league. But Lucy Capadonna was, I kind of put her at fault for the first goal against Calgary, sorry, where she is stronger. We've seen her be stronger in 50-50 duels, and she just, she lost her duel, and the giveaway led directly to the counter that caused the goal against Ottawa. So again, it's weird to say this about two players that were consistently among the best last season, but it was a really rough game. And I think that, again, credit to Ottawa, who they're in second place for a reason, right? But they made life extremely difficult, and Montreal didn't really have an answer for it.
Yeah, I see your point. I see your point regarding the defense, but I think, like I said, like the whole team had trouble in the second half and weren't able to adapt. And is it because we lost physicality in the midfield by putting Charim in? That's possible too. And by the way, for me, as of right now, Charim is the flop of the season. Now for this game, as of right now. Oh yeah, she's not doing well at all.
Clip that.
As of right now, again, hope that she's gonna find her groove at one point, but as of right now, I didn't see anything from her.
They're playing her as a wing back, which I don't know about her career, but this wasn't something we saw last year from her. She didn't thrive in that position. She thrived with Roses as a winger, and they've been playing her as a wing back. And I think that's what we're seeing, Heidi. I think that adaptation where it's very strange for her.
It's tough for her.
And when I've been to practice, they've told me that the communication is also not impossible, but it's difficult. So maybe that transition and the adaptation to it all is maybe a little slower. So anyways, but I'm not disagreeing with you. She has been kind of a disappointment in this season.
Exactly.
I've come to a realization. Oh, finish your flop.
My flop was Evelyn Badou. I was expecting a lot more on her first start. Again, I'm being tough, right? Because it's her first start, right? But that breakaway where Elise Bennett gives her like almost a one-on-one with the keeper. She had still a defender to beat. She should have done a lot better on this. And I didn't think that she brought anything more on the pitch by being a starter. I was expecting a bit more. Now, a lot of people are telling me, but she played as kind of a winger, but she's mostly a midfielder. I understand. But at the same time, she's supposed to be that added value for the Montreal Roses. And she wasn't.
You could say the same thing about Bennett, though. Bennett had 2 breakaways where she could have killed the game.
Yeah. I literally was about to say that.
I agree, but the difference with Bennett, that she's great holding the ball.
Yes,
with her back.
No. I'm not disagreeing with your choice. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to killing the game, Bennett could have had 2 in the second half alone.
But at least Bennett brought this. Bennett brought this to the pitch. What did Badou bring? Nothing.
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna ask you guys, because I was gonna ask you, like, nobody spoke about Elise Bennett. I mean, I don't think she had the most horrible game, but she didn't have, like, after the performances she's put the past weeks.
She's a victim
of her own standards. To be Superwoman all the time.
She's a victim of her own standards, but she still had a really good game. And you also like my best advice to anyone watching the Roses is watch Elise Bennett without the ball and how much attention she draws the second she moves. She'll be hanging out in the regular striker spot. The second she drops in, alarm bells start ringing everywhere, and they go, "Oh my god!" And that's what happened on the second goal. Was the ball that led to, I mean, the mistake, obviously, but that was created because Elise Bennett checked in and people followed her, and that was the gap that Boychuk ran into. But I want to talk about the right back position, because whether it's Cherim, whether it's Whitaker, whether it's Lisa Petrsky, who played it today, I've come to a realization that Robert Rosatoyu it feels like he is just abandoning defense on the right side.
I agree.
And that's why Sauvé is not able
and that's
to
why
go,
Megan exactly. That's why Megan Sauvé is not getting that high up the pitch. And the second I saw the lineup,
Lucy Capadonna is being exposed as well on that side.
The second I saw the lineup and I saw that Lisa Petrsky I saw and I when they drop it in a list, you try and start putting pieces in the right spots,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, is Petruski playing right back? And then I saw the game, I was like, oh my gosh, she played right back, and I realized that there is no right back on this team.
No.
And this team is
there
so
isn't.
run and gun and so dynamic offensively, and they're good enough to do it that
Yeah.
Robert Rosatoyu is kind of just like,
Yeah, I'm not touching anything.
if you want to have a shooter on the right wing, I have Chirim, I have Haley Whitaker, I have Lisa Petruski, I have Evelyn Badu, and then I have Elise Bennett running in behind. I will win. And so I think he's literally just weighing the cost benefit.
Yeah.
I think Anne-Valérie Citeau has been fantastic so far this season.
Yeah, she's been very good.
Given that she has a lot on her plate because
Yeah.
this team is basically playing without a right back. And I think that she's done a great job in that hybrid role. So honestly, right now, keep going with it because you may suffer a little bit on the right-hand side of your defense, but the trade-off that you're getting where you have like 3 weapons of mass destruction on that side,
Ooh.
you take it every single time.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Damn, you just got us banned off YouTube, Elias. But like one of the things that also I really like, you mentioned Seto. Seto is also, you have to think about it. This is the first season she's actually playing that position. She's never played right,
She's naturally six,
right center back. She's a natural 6, and you can see it at times that she's like, "Oh snap, I'm not supposed to be here," But at the same time, as you mentioned, she's making up for some of those discrepancies that there is in her game. But you're right, the right back, and you know who was the right back, Elias, that they never replaced last season? Who left the team? Lara Schenk.
There wasn't
Lara Schenk was a natural.
Wasn't Lara Schenk a left back?
And a right back. She could play both. She could play both.
Okay.
Yeah, and they never replaced her. She left because of the international spot she was taking up.
Jodie Smith too, same thing.
And Jodie Smith, and they never replaced her. Instead, they're playing Sheridan Kang in the position, which is really strange. Let's move on because we got a Habs game and we want to watch it. We're excited about it.
I do think Chiriam had a good game today, though, or on Saturday. I will say that. I think she was all right. I know. I think she was all right. I think she was good in combination.
Okay, no. Say why. No, why? Why?
Because
why?
I think technically she's still good. She created a chance that Naomi Paquin almost finished. And I think that when it comes to breaking lines right now, whether through passing or through driving with the ball, she's still, along with Petruski, the best player on the team to do that. And so when you're suffering a lot and you're conceding a lot of possession and you need some kind of deterrent to relieve the pressure, if you don't have Petruski on the field, she's the only other player I reliably trust to carry the ball through lines and kind of relieve that pressure.
For me, the only way she would get a place in the team is by replacing Chloe Muniz. That's it. She can't play anywhere else.
Because there's
exactly.
Honestly,
so she's on the bench.
Until Felicia Roy comes back from injury, the only person I think is going to replace that midfield duo is Anne-Valérie Citeau. But you have to wait until Julia Elise gets back from injury.
I agree with you, but as I said, for me, Charim doesn't bring anything unless she plays in the middle and just
or winger.
In the middle.
Yeah, as a winger, she was really.
But
good.
as a winger,
they switch though, right? Like the inside 10 and the wing back, they switch all the time, especially on the right side when there is no actual right back.
Man, he loves this woman. I don't know why, but he loves her.
No, but
I love this profile, man. She's fun to watch.
She's technical. She's very technical and
on her day, she's arguably like top 5 players in the league on her day.
I agree, but as of right now, in this scheme, in Rosatoyu's scheme for 2026, I don't think she has a place right now, from what I see.
You know what also makes her tough to watch right now is because, as you mentioned, there's no solid right back in that position, which makes it harder for a right winger that is maybe learning the system to actually build anything. Because right now, in my opinion, what Lisa Petruski is doing by herself is incredible. She is driving up that right side.
Player, right?
But she's building up. She's setting herself up.
First goal. Oh my god, man! Oh my god, the acceleration on the first goal.
Are you kidding me? And she's like that 90 minutes.
Yeah,
90 minutes on the so, but you can't have that. I'm not hoping for it, but there will be games maybe that Lisa Petruski's banged up and can't play. You can't replace a profile like that. You got to get somebody to like a right back that will enable the wingers like Sheridan Kang to be free on the right. But right now it's not working. Anyways, as I mentioned earlier, we got to move on. But before we move on, a quick shout out to our partners over at Impact Essentials. If you're looking to upgrade your daily routine, this is the place to do it. Impact Essentials is a Montreal-based premium grooming brand specializing in high-end, all-natural beard care. As you guys can see, I have so much with some absolute incredible scent profiles. We're talking coffee-infused whiskey, tobacco, and cognac, and more. It honestly turns your morning routine into a full-on ritual. And for those without beards, like me, don't worry. They've got a new line coming very soon to make sure. So make sure to follow their socials and stay tuned for that launch. Go show them some love at impactessentials.ca. And don't forget to use our promo code TBIR to save 15% off your order. Every purchase helps support the show, and we truly appreciate it. That's promo code TBIR for 15% off your next order. All right, moving on. Exciting game, right? With CF Montreal. CF Montreal battled to a thrilling 4-4 draw against DC United in a wild back-and-forth showdown with late goals from Prince Owusu and Henadi Sinchuk, rescuing a dramatic point in the dying moments, an absolute roller coaster of a match filled with chaos, drama, and late-game heroics. What does it all mean? Let's go ahead and break it down. Elias, show us the lineup. So at the top, we had Prince Owusu. Look at that blue, 9.7. We had Wiki Carmona, Noah Stride on the left, Matty Longstaff, Victor Latori, Oger Escobar in the middle, Luca Petrasso on left back, Brian Vera. Efrain Morales makes his comeback to back line, and David Bugay in the right, as well as Thomas Gillier in goal. All right. So overall, what was your thoughts of the game, guys? How do I start with you?
But let Elias start. Go ahead, start. Go ahead.
As far as away games go, I guess they embraced the chaos. I mean, both teams didn't play well. It was an entertaining game, maybe.
Were you expecting any of them to play well?
No, but there's like the saying of our bon 0-0 bien plat à la DC United. It's the expectation going into a game against DC United that, you're expecting it. But I mean, DC's been a bit better this season, obviously, and they're in the top half of the Eastern Conference, I think. But I just wasn't expecting a shootout. And the thing is, a lot of the time, especially on Montreal's side, most of the stuff was self-inflicted. And I thought we were done gifting goals for free, right? Goals against the run of play is one thing. When you're caught out, these were goals you're just like, yeah, here. What do you mean? So I don't know. We'll get to the tops and flops later, but it was not clean, but a point on the road is still a point on the road, especially with the way this team plays on the road now.
Simple question for you two. Does this draw, because I always ask myself this question, does this draw feel like a win or a loss?
Oh, win. 100%.
100%.
You were losing like in extra time by 2 goals. And then you managed in last 7 minutes to score 2 goals and get away with a point. Like, for me, it cannot be anything else than a win. And at the same time, showing the run of form of CF Montreal since the beginning of the season, any point won is a win. Like, it's at one point, we were 1-6 at the beginning of the season. 1 win, 6 losses. And we were like, okay, just another season of CF Montreal at the rock bottom of MLS. So now, yes, we've won a few games at home, but we still have a losing record. And now we're able to go on the road and still be able to score 2 goals in extra time. Yeah, it's surely a win.
And you know what's even better, Hattie? Right now, CF Montreal on the table is on top of who, guys?
Toronto. Yeah, for sure. But that's simple.
But when you go back to the game, to the moments after the Philly game, when we all knew that Donadell was going to get fired, and you tell somebody from that day, that by the time you hit the World Cup break, you're going to be 4 points out of a playoff spot with the game in hand. You've lost 1 game at home since then, and I'm going to put up some stats for you. Since Philippe Lafroy took over, Vincent Détouche shared this on Twitter.
Great stat.
Right?
I love this.
Points per match, goals per match, goals against per match is the only one that's below MLS average.
So if you can say the numbers, Elias, for those listening.
Everything else I'm going to tell you is above the MLS average. Points per match, 1.5, above average. Goals per match, there are 2, they're above average. Goals conceded, 1.7, they're below average. Fine. XG per
by
match,
by
1.8.
0.1 by 0.1.
0.1, yes. XG per match, 1.8. They're above average. XG conceded per match, 1.6. They're below. They're above average again. They're better than the average. Shots per game, 16. 16 shots per game. Incredible improvement
crazy.
from
That's
12
crazy.
under Marco Donadel. Above average. Shots against per game, 12. 1 below the average. Distance run total over the course of 90 minutes. It's up 3 kilometers total. They're 100 meters below average. Whatever. That's basically at the MLS average. High intensity running. High intensity runs per match.
It's crazy. This is the
407. This is the craziest one. 475 high intensity runs. So short. So lung busting sprint or whatever. 475. The league average is 464. And under Donadel, it was 438. So you're telling me that they're averaging almost 40 high-intensity runs per game more under Olafroy than under Donadel. And then the same thing with sprints. They're doing 120 sprints per match. With the league average is 112. Under Donadel, it was 107.9. So
okay, those are good stats.
Forget the tactics. Just cold, hard results. Right now, this team is not only enjoying their soccer more, but in terms of real hard work, real effort, the willingness to play, not just sexy football, but the small stuff that wins you points. They're doing it not just at a better clip than under Donadel. They're doing it better than the league average. Remember, this is a team that apparently, according to experts, is barely a CPL team, right?
Yeah.
So, this isn't just a new manager and you're enjoying your football again. These are real concrete changes that are happening.
But I have a question here, Hadi. Are these numbers that we're seeing, because they're great, I applaud them, are they inflated by someone talented such as Ivan Jaime? If you take Ivan Jaime out of the picture, which we now have to, he's out. Okay, I don't care what anybody says, he's out.
Think Ivan Jaime is busting sprints like that in the game?
Ivan Jaime, if there's something that I would say about him,
if anything, the number of sprints is going to go up.
Exactly.
I think it's going to go up now that he's gone.
Exactly. So no,
the XG might go down a little bit, but the sprints are going to go up.
Yeah, sure. Sprints are going to go up. Like the average, it's going to go up for sure.
Hadi, what were your thoughts overall of the game? Go ahead.
I will tell you something. I just want to add something on the stats that Elias showed, and it's nice because it's a good transition to what I was going to say. That team was sick mentally. That team was sick. Yeah. And Philippe Lafroy came and gave them purpose, gave them a way of playing together, gave them a way of enjoying the game again. And they want to run. They want to make sure they want to bring all that intensity and all that drive on the pitch. And you can see it every time we have the ball or we don't have the ball. You see those players really pushing themselves to go and get the ball, to make sure they do the right play. They're pissed off whenever they lose the ball. At one point with Donadel, they would lose the ball and they would say, you would see it in their body language that they didn't care anymore. They didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
And now you see with Philippe Lafroy that team has come together. Of course, you still have the limitations of quality because, again, we all know. Let's say it out loud. This team needs a bit more quality, technically, technically mostly, and of course in front of the net or in dribbling and stuff like that. You need that quality. You need a bit more quality, but it's not a bad team either. And at the same time, under Philippe Lafroy, you have a never gonna die attitude. You have that feeling that this team doesn't want to give up. They just don't want to give up. And it's funny because I'm going to tell you something. I watched the game. And then after I had to watch, for whatever reason, I had to watch the Toronto game that was recorded on my TV. And I was watching it.
Why would you do that?
I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. I was watching it on RDS, and we were almost at the end of the game, and then Olivier Brett says, CF Montreal has lost 4-2. And they went on with, I think it was a halftime show, And then like 5 minutes later, he's like, "Oh my God, it's 4-4." So just to let you know, we were all sure that we had lost that game.
Everyone was sure.
Everyone was sure. And again,
by the way, Toronto 0 wins in their last 9 games in all competitions.
Oh yeah, man, they suck.
Say it for the people in the back. Say it for the people in the back.
They suck. Like it's not normal. It's not normal.
Right.
They honestly, I'm not gonna. It's not a plot of Toronto FC, but just one thing I don't understand. We're talking about CF Montreal hiring Marco Donadel. What about Toronto hiring Robin Fraser? I'm sorry, like this coach doesn't know what she's doing. But whatever.
It's because it's easier to beat up on Montreal because of the perennial punching bag and it's free content. That's why. It's always free content. It's crazy. That's why every podcast in all of North America suddenly realized that Montreal existed, was because they realized, I can shit on a team and it's free content. Yay.
Man, and nobody's shitting on Toronto. Like whenever I go watch One Soccer, they're always shitting on Montreal, saying, they never spend and they spend. Okay. But like, man, Toronto overspends and sucks.
Okay, so can we just spend 20 seconds of our show shitting on Toronto?
We did already.
Baseball. Baseball. Hockey. Soccer. What else? What else do they have? Even basketball. The women's side. Soccer.
Yeah, your sport. Your sport. They don't suck.
Suck.
In your sport, they don't suck.
What sport? Hockey?
You're like American football.
Oh, football.
Canadian football.
Nobody watches the CFL. Anyways,
I watch the CFL. CFL is fun as hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better. It's a better sport than the NFL. The NFL just has better athletes.
All right. So the CF Montreal game, I completely agree with you, guys. 6 months ago, Elias was.
Yeah, he agrees with us.
I went on this show. And I said, CF Montreal is one piece away from being a really good team. And I didn't say a piece on the field. Where was the piece, Elias?
I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
They were a coach away from being a good team. So these stats that you're showing me, it's not necessarily the pieces that change.
Define a good team.
A team is built of players that believe in their skill, that believe that they're capable of doing it. And that's what, as you mentioned, Philippe Lafroy put into these players that we saw against DC United, his belief in himself. Prince Owusu, as sometimes he can do some terrible things throughout the game, but when you see him angry, you see him driven, you see him out there trying to prove to anybody who's watching, listening, he's going to turn it into the Prince Owusu show. That's what I think we saw on Saturday was the Prince Owusu show, because he believed in his skill. He believed in his teammates. I remember when we would watch the Marco Donadel games, we would say, well, this squad, it's so nice to see that they're willing to run through a wall for Marco Donadel. They really believe in the whole Marco Donadel thing. But did they really believe in themselves? I don't think so. And that's what Philippe Lafroy focused on, is not necessarily buying into we believe in Philippe Lafroy. It's more in we believe in ourselves. We believe that we're MLS players and we're better than these teams that we're facing. So that's what we saw against DC United, a team that believed in themselves. Now, did they all perform? Did they all have their best game? No, I don't think so. We saw a lot of also gaps and moments where you questioned a lot of things, but now I think we're starting to see the kind of impact a good coach can have for the Montreal Impact, and that's important when we talk about the change of calendar and the new transfer markets that Lucas Saputo wants to bring in other players, but you guys know this. Elias, you guys know this is at the end of the day, you can pay a player a lot of money or you cannot pay them a lot of money, but you got to convince them of the project. And you can't, it's very hard to convince players when you have a losing team. It's as much as you can tell them, you can be the one that brings the change. Not every player wants to feel that kind of pressure coming into a team. Some of them just want to be there and be part of something that's already built, right? So that's what I think Philippe Lafroy is bringing. Now we're going to talk about Philippe Lafroy's future, but before we go into that, top and flop of the game. Elias, I'll start with you.
I mean,
can we just skip the top because like we all know who the top is?
Okay, my top my top two is not named Prince Owusu of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Let's give the top outside of Prince Owusu because like 3 goals and an assist.
Wiki Carmona, 1,000%. Are you kidding me? There's no debate. Who are you guys gonna say?
It was my turn. I was gonna say Wiki. You stole it from me.
All right, let's just do the flop. Let's
No,
just go
honestly,
but
honestly.
Wiki deserves his flowers because again, you look at that tying goal and really nice awareness from Owusu to kind of put the ball in that spot, but that doesn't happen without let's call it what it is, a world class ball from Wiki Carmona into space.
Yeah.
The fact, and again, I mean this with all the respect in the world because I did like his profile. I think he's a good player, but the fact that Montreal was able to get him for Jaquil Marshall-Rudy
For nothing.
is
for nothing.
No, I preface it with respect because I do like the player. The fact that they were able to get him for a player that they did not get value out of, like Jaquil Marshall-Rudy, is one of the biggest fleeces.
So politically correct. Yeah.
One of the biggest fleeces I've seen since they got Georgi Mihailovic for peanuts.
100%. Or Matty Longstaff with Jonathan.
He's not at Georgi Mihailovic's level yet, but for what they paid, and with again, Georgi Mihailovic had a much better team around him too. Let's be honest. But for what they paid, oh my! This is the deal of. Yeah. This is the best deal that of the Lucas Saputo era by a million miles.
Can we compare the deal of Wiki Carmona to the deal that brought Bryce Duke to Seattle Montreal for 1.3 million and Kamal Miller?
Not
and he's without a club now.
Not Elvira Navas' finest acquisition, we will admit.
Yeah.
The fact that Ariel Laster ended up being the more valuable asset between the two of them is Ariel Laster, who's kind of thrown in as like a Tiens voici, kind of here you go.
Okay, guys, we're trying to let go of our past and move on with the future. Okay, so
sorry, he plays with San Diego. I almost forgot that he was playing.
How dare you forget about Bryce Duke?
Honestly, right now with the way they're playing, San Diego forgets that they're playing for San Diego. So.
Yeah. Okay, so I will give like my top, for sure. It's Wiki Carmona. If I wanted to choose someone else, I liked what Daniel Rios brought to the team when he came in. It wasn't for just one half, but I think that without Daniel Rios, that wasn't for draw, just because he brings like a bit more physicality to the offense along with Owusu. So having Owusu and him is a bit too much for the opponent's defense. And I think it helped a lot. But like he didn't do anything extraordinary, but his presence was really important for CF Montreal to get that 4-4 draw.
And your flop?
Ooh, there's a lot. I could name like 3 players just like that, but I will choose Victor Luturi.
Me too.
I would choose Luturi because honestly, you're playing without Samuel Piette. You need someone to play Samuel Piette's role, and unfortunately, I haven't seen that from Luturi. Luturi didn't play like he didn't have a bad game, but he didn't fulfill his role. His role was to be just in front of the defense and making sure that nothing goes through. We got scored on 4 goals. And this is not normal. And all the opportunities for DC United should not have happened. And I can tell you right now, if Samuel Piette was in the starting 11, those 4 goals, some of them would not have gone through. So for me, Victor Luturi, if he's going to be that number 6 just in front of the defense, he needs to do a bit more.
All right, Elias,
I see Elias doesn't agree, but I want to hear your thoughts.
The worst part is like, what it's like when you hear slander of someone and they're kind of right. I'm like, shit. Because the thing is,
like Roses FC.
I love Luturi. By the way, I love
Luturi had like an okay game, but when you frame it in the context of he's replacing Samuel Piette, you're 100% right.
Yeah,
that's
the problem.
Yeah, I look at David Bugay, right?
Oh man, I cannot. I cannot.
But here's the thing.
So much better, man.
Here's the thing, right? Because David Bugay again, except for that really weird start to the season where he was like in this nebulous kind of like, why am I not even on the team sheet thing? This is the most squad competition he's faced since Donadell showed up and finally made things go back to a four back. Because once Donadell took over, that Bugai was arguably the most consistent player for CF last season.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have Dangar Tohasen, who since Orlando has had this enormous weight off his shoulders. And he comes on at halftime and does significantly better. I mean, like they're not playing the same position, man. Right? So this is, I'm really curious to see how the Bugai responds because you have to remember, he's what, 23 years old now? 23, 24 years
I
old.
think he's even younger, no?
He's
Bugai,
still,
he's
I mean,
21.
He's 21. He's
Yeah.
still a kid, man,
Turns
right?
22 this year.
So,
Yeah. He's going to be 22 in July.
So I think it's very telling to see how he responds to this, especially with having such a bad half going into 2 months off.
But that's two games in a row, Elias. Because
it is two games in a row because he did not play.
Against
You're
Chicago,
100% right. But
he
to be fair, the entire backline stunk. But yes,
but the right side was not very bad.
So I'm very curious to see how he kind of reacts to this because it's clear that Philippe Rodafroy still rates him very highly and he still trusts him because
he's young, as you said, he's young.
And his upside is enormous. We've seen he has the potential to be an elite MLS level right back. So I was natural. I mean, like we don't have to go into the depths of it because we saw how rough the first half was. But I'm more curious now about how he takes this because he had a rough start of the season, and we don't know what happened behind closed doors. But he was basically shut out of the not just the starting 11, but out of the entire game sheet. So you have 2 months, regroup, and come back because there's an established level that we know he can consistently operate at. Now it's just about putting yourself in the right position to continue to do that. And I hope he finds it because, again, with Sinchuk back last year, they had a really good connection. I hope now that Sinchuk is back and hopefully stays healthy, we can finally see that David Bugai from last year, who was a revelation and not a liability.
I agree. And I think it's going to be. This is where a lot of questions are asked. In my opinion, it's how do y'all agree with you in the flop? I think it was Victor Latoury's position to lose or win in this game in these past few games, and I don't think he's done much to prove. And that's actually his loss more than anybody because there's transfer windows coming in, and maybe that's a position that they're with an aging Samuel Piet and Victor Latoury that hasn't necessarily played at his best all season. It's maybe a position that they're going to look to address. We'll see. But I'm kind of concerned about something, guys. I want to see what you guys think because now.
So your flop was Latoury. Sorry.
Yeah, 100% agreed with that.
Sorry.
But I want to know because there's a lot of profiles that under Marco Donadell, they were benched, they weren't playing, they were in a doghouse or whatever. And we said, maybe it's a Marco Donadell thing. Now Philippe Lafroy is going to come. Everybody has their chances and all that. But slowly but surely, as the games go on, we see these same players being benched and not playing. So was it really a Marco Donadell thing? Was it that these players are not buying into the whole CF Montreal club? What? Or is it just me that's seeing it this way when it comes to these players? We can talk about the examples like Jalen Neal, who was on the bench. Samuel Piet didn't come off the bench. You mentioned Samuel Piet. Frankie Amai, Mahalo Poku, who's been, I think, through 4 coaches now, and he still gets very little to no minutes.
I think that those players have all played under Lafroy, and they played very well. Like Jane O'Neill didn't get 1 minute under Donadell this year, and with Lafroy
against Chicago, that's it.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
It was, but to be fair, honestly, lucky you. That was disaster.
I forgot that. But
it's for the best.
But what about like a Mahalo Poku?
Don't forget that he got 1 second. He got a knock. Also, Jalen Lean, and that's why he went out. Yeah. He got out of the starting 11, and at that point, he needs to play the other players. Like Morales cannot be on the bench forever either. It's a very good center back. So you need to play him too. So I think it's a kind of rotation for Mahalo Opoku. Man, like the guy was like really in the doghouse, and Philippe Lafroy gave him a few minutes here and there. Unfortunately, he didn't show anything. He scored a goal against the Blizzard, but like he didn't show anything. So at one point, Philippe Lafroy has to bring on some points. So I understand that. Who else? Samuel Piet. Samuel Piet has been like the
most
main
important
player
player.
for Philippe Lafroy. So it's rotation. He needed to put a bit of rotation. So I don't think we can compare the doghouse of Philippe Lafroy with the doghouse of Marco Donadel, because the only one that's still in the doghouse for both coaches is Sunusi. Like,
Hey,
that's the only one.
Sunusi's back.
That's the only one. So
we're gonna wrap this up, guys. I just want to know, because we're heading into the World Cup break, and we're gonna finish with FC Super du Quebec. But before we get into it, just a quick question: is Philippe Lafroy the guy for this team until the end of the season? Elias, I'll start with you. And then
Into the end of the season, yes. I said it when Donadel was fired. If they don't find someone by the World Cup break, then they have to stay with Lafroy until the end of the season. You keep the interim tag on him, you keep the pressure off him. But I'm gonna pull up these stats again, right?
The same stats for the people listening. The same stats
for the people listening. Yes, the same stats we talked about earlier, right? And if you want to just pull up the video just to see how stark the contrast between both coaches is, that's the only argument you need for him to stay on to the end of the season. Because if you found someone now and you give them, well, I mean, there's a league mandated week and a half off or something, so nobody's doing anything. But you give a new coach a month and a half, which is effectively a mini preseason, to kind of get everybody up to speed and understand this coach. That's one thing. Fine. They don't. You have to stick with Lafroy now. There's no reason why in July or August you go, we have a new coach now. No, you're nuking everything.
I completely agree with you. They have to name a new coach now or not, or it's Philippe Lafroy until the end. Completely understand. But there's one thing that I notice in all the press conferences, even if I'm not there anymore, I listen to them from time to time, and he always says, I want to extend my interim position.
Yes.
He never says that he wants the full-time job. So even Philippe Lafroy himself wants it to be brief, wants it to be at the end of the season, and that's it. I don't think he wants even to say that he wants a full-time job to, as you said, maybe not have the pressure of, not being selected or whatever, whatever reason that he chooses. So that's, I think, very interesting. At the same time, to answer your question, Andy, I think that now with the results that you have, I think it would be stupid for Lucas Saputo and all the higher management to not extend Philippe Lafroy's tenure. The thing is, if you decide to go against that and bring another coach, you're putting so much pressure on that new coach because Philippe Lafroy did well. You're putting so much pressure also on the fan base that's appreciating Philippe Lafroy and what he brings to the table. So for me, like, they will lose, even if the coach is okay, they would lose so much by just removing Philippe Lafroy.
And you're putting pressure on the players.
Exactly. You're pressuring everybody, and especially the fan base. And we have seen it since the beginning of the season. We didn't have one sold out game yet. Not one.
You're right.
They haven't even gone 16,000 yet. Forget sold out.
Exactly, but between 16,000 and 19,000, I'm sorry.
And guys, that's a Puro when it's sold out. You know this more than anybody.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Stadium to
it's
be
amazing.
In.
No, yeah. It's amazing. But I think at the same time, it all depends on the player that they're going to bring, because now we know that Ivan Jaime is not coming back. Okay. Yeah. And, as per all the rumors that we're seeing, as per, the informant number one, Maxime Trouman, that's been saying that what he hears is that 5 to 10 million would be injected during this summer. If you have 5 to 10 million, so I suppose you have 1 to 2 DPs. If you're doing that, if you're bringing like high profile players or very good players at that for that amount of money, do you need a coach with a higher reputation? That's the only concern that I have. And it all depends on the identity of the players that they're going to bring.
I just think Philippe Lafroy knows the club so well. He does. He knows this club
For sure.
like the back of his hand. That makes him such a respectable figure to step into a locker room because he knows the club more than any player coming in. Go ahead, Hattie. We'll transition to FC Super du Québec.
Before we do it, also remember Steven Eustachio is not continuing his loan in LAFC.
Here we go again. Back to episode 162, where Elias is vouching for Steven Eustachio.
By the
Why
way,
not? Why not?
I
But
mean-
like, is that the profile that you need right now? I don't think so. With Frankie Amaya being with the team, I don't think you need Frankie Amaya.
Who's that?
He needed a preseason. He's gonna have a preseason now, so that's great. Yeah, he's gonna have 2 months to train, so he's gonna be good after the World Cup.
Also, a bit of breaking news that usually happens after the pod, but now we have it during the pod. Prince Wusu is not going to the World Cup. He was not called up by Ghana.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So the Ghana hate watch is officially on. I
Wow.
used to love Ghana because of that 2010 World Cup run, but now they are my mortal enemy, and I hope.
All right, guys, let's do it at the same time. Boo!
Boo. Yeah, so guys, as usual, very quick message for you guys. I hope that you like the show. I hope that you're enjoying our discussions because we're having a lot of fun. But if you do, please make sure to push the like button, to retweet, to repost, to talk about our show. That's something very important for us because that's what makes the pod grow. This is what to do, and this is how we get recognized, and this is how we grow that podcast here. So I understand if you have a bit of money, for sure, go and sign up and subscribe to the Patreon. You have the free option, but also you do have the paid option that will help us, keep this podcast for sure, improve it, invest on it, and everything. So that's it for us. So I hope that you guys would do that. You can do it now since you're listening right now. Go ahead. You can do it on all social media platforms. And of course, you can follow us too on all social media platforms. You can see our Twitter name under our names here in the video.
Thank you for that. All right, so we'll finish with this for the show for tonight because the Habs game is coming quickly. So FC Super du Québec also battled to a draw against Vancouver FC with a late goal from Mathis Chrétien, rescuing a point and helping the side avoid what would have been their first losing streak of the season. Elias, let's go ahead and look at that lineup. So goalie, we had Mili in the back line. We had Abzi, Mathis Chrétien, as I mentioned, Kishan Ferdinand, Charles Auguste, Safwan Emla, Bouganmi, Ocho, El Calculi, Sean Rea, Caboret in the top, and Loic Kwemi back at 9. All right, so...
Sorry, one question.
Yes.
Where do you bring those grades? Is that the FATMOB or?
Yeah.
Man.
They're generous.
We haven't watched the same game, huh?
FATMOB was very generous.
We haven't watched the same game at all. But whatever.
FATMOB was in
Sorry.
a very good mood. I don't even know. I don't even know what goes into their logic. I use FATMOB because it gives a formation instead of just a list. The list pisses me off,
I love FATMOB. I'm a big fan of
the
FATMOB.
stats are simple. Did he kick the ball? Yes.
No. You see it. If you click on the player, you see
they give a
explanation
breakdown
of the stat. But that's why you can say whatever you want to stats, and that's the problem. When I look at the grades, I'm always skeptical. Watch the game and then you'll know if the player played well or not.
Did you have any other complaints about FATMOB?
No.
Okay.
I have complaints about you.
Sometimes it's kind of laggy, and I feel like the swiping is annoying when I want to go from team to team.
I guess we're continuing on that. All right, so now that we've looked at the lineup and the complaints are out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the game. So, I told you guys before the show, and I'm going to say it again. I think FC Super were extremely lucky in this game against Vancouver to tie, because I think this should have been a complete ass whooping by Vancouver. I thought Vancouver was terrible in front of goal. They missed so many opportunities to score, and FC Super got lucky. In my opinion, I really will say that they got lucky because I don't think they were good enough. They played good enough to deserve a win, and and I don't think they played well enough to only allow Vancouver to score one goal. I think Vancouver really shot themselves in the foot here. But it was an interesting game nonetheless. I mean, we're starting to see how different profiles, a lot of rotation going on with David Chouanier not starting. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if there's an injury going on with some of the starters that were there last the past few weeks. Clément Baillat, for example. I don't know if there's been an injury that's been reported, but also Riyad Bey, who were extremely important players in the past few weeks. They've all of a sudden disappeared out of the complete game day sheet. So a lot of questions to be asked, but it was a very, Hadi, I think you were telling me a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit slow. What
slow? It was a boring game, man. It was so boring. That is, honestly, it was.
You're still talking about the app or the game?
Both. No, honestly, no. I love the app, by the way, but whatever. Hey man, I bought,
trying to get a sponsor.
I bought
100%.
I bought FOTMob when it was still $0.99.
We're still talking about the app. Okay.
$0.99. It was $0.99 for the full app without. That was maybe 20 years ago. I bought it, and I still have the free, the paid version on my phone.
So guys, if our show goes over the Habs game, it's because of FOTMob. Okay, go ahead.
But you're the one that asked the question. Whatever. No, boring game. Honestly, very, very boring game. I agree with you, Andy, that yes, we should have lost that game maybe 10 times out of 11. We would have lost that game. The thing is, we also missed some very good chances. Loic Quemi in the first half, that should have buried that at one point and completely missed his shot. And Sean Rea when he dribbled two players, and
that was beautiful.
And that was beautiful. He had two chances. If you were gonna, you had two choices. Sorry, if you are gonna shoot, it needs to be on target, or else you had Loic Quemi on his right, completely free. So it's unacceptable that this wasn't a goal. But the rest of the game, we just weren't there, and unfortunately. I love Bouganmi. Don't get me wrong. I love him. But in that game,
so slow.
He wasn't the right profile for this game. If you're going to put Bouganmi, you're going to put him in a game where you're going to have the possession. Because his vision is amazing. He's technical and everything. When you're in a game where you need is grit, where you need is physicality, you don't need that type of player on the pitch. So, we're lucky to have that 1-1 thanks to Mathis Chrétien once again. After the shot of, was it Rea? Yeah, it was Rea that shot. Yes. Yeah. So we're lucky, but we'll take it. I don't care. We'll take it.
And honestly, and I'll say this too. You talked about it being boring, but there was nothing going on from midfield to attack. There was nothing, no connection, no build-up. You mentioned a nice little attack by Sean Rea going to goal where he missed the shot completely, but that was an individual effort dribbling through three players. But as a team, as a collective, through the wings and the middle, nothing. There was nothing. And
Vancouver was very good too.
Yeah, Vancouver played them well.
Say it, right?
But
they played very well.
FC Super have gotten us used to since watching them at Sepsum to have those moments of where they dribble past players, they build up the attack so nicely, but it's almost like
there were a couple.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna pull up the lineup again, and we talk about how FOTMob was super generous. One thing that I find very weird is the fact that they give Bakary Caboret a 5.7.
Yeah, and Mili is 6.4.
Yeah, I mean,
Mili had some sick saves.
Yeah, Mili had 6 saves.
Bakary Caboret everyone was Mathis was already relatively established. I don't think anyone expected him to reach these heights. But Bakary Caboret, for me, so far, is the player that came out of absolutely nowhere and has impressed me the most. Riyad Bey, we knew that he was good. Mathis Chrétien, we knew that he was solid. Maybe not this level, but Bakary Caboret was not on my radar at all because of how deep the wingers were. And the fact that he's playing at the level he is, he was amazing off the bench the last two games. And in this performance today, I thought that he was fantastic. And so I was, 5.7 is very harsh. But again, that's one of the few guys that really got me out of my seat. He was like, okay, you
Yeah,
showed
he
me
did
something.
some nice things, but he still
I didn't
he
like his
lost.
game at
He
all.
lost. Yeah, he lost a couple of balls, and I was like,
Terrible in
I,
duels. He
I
got
don't
beat out
mind that. I don't.
physically.
He's 5 foot like 7. I don't mind him getting beat out physically. It's gonna happen. But the thing is,
So
you need
isn't
people.
he taller than Sean Ray?
Sean Ray was also MLS level player, so it's different,
Okay.
right? When you've played against MLS players, you understand the physicality of it, and that's something that Bakary boy has to kind of learn. But when you need people that kind of unlock something, especially if you don't have a lot of the ball, or especially if a lot of the ball that you have is not being used progressively, you need a shot in the arm, and I think that right now he's one of the best to do that, especially if Riyad Bey is not on the field.
All right, so let's talk about our top and our flop. Hadi, I'll start with you. What was your top and your flop?
honestly, I had a lot of trouble choosing a top.
Hmm.
But I would say Mathis Chrétien, just because he scored the goal. I think he was very good physically, and I liked what he brought. As a flop, I talked about him a bit later. For me, it's Bouganmi. That again, it's not because of the capabilities of Bouganmi. It's because of the
Mhm.
game. This game required another type of player, and for me, he wasn't the guy to be playing in Vancouver.
Yeah,
Elias, your top and your
I,
flop.
I, I- I'm completely in agreement because I feel like everyone else that had a weak game. If you look at Safan Mala, who didn't have as good a game, look at Keyshawn Ferdinand. I didn't love his game either. But these are all like byproducts of Usama Buganmi being in a really bad matchup. So yeah, when you have to break down a low block, or when you have to, find a decisive pass, that's one thing. But him doing the work needed to let Safwan Mala be a proper eight is not going to happen, especially on a long travel day where you're all the way across the country. So, you know, he's 38. You have to start understanding the limitations that
36,
come with
36, no?
36.
I think so.
He,
Yeah.
he's in the back legs of his career, right? And you have to understand the limitations that come with
36
that.
too.
With the ball at his feet, he is arguably the most
Yeah, 36.
talented
Sorry.
ball distributor on the team. But the thing is, when you ask him to do all this work off the ball, when you don't stack the midfield with him, then life gets complicated, and everyone else gets exposed by osmosis. So it was rough. I think no Biello, and this team is massive gap in it.
Exactly, and I'll say this: I think my top was Joaquin Millie for obvious reasons. Obviously, like I said,
Yeah.
Vancouver shot themselves in the foot a lot, but I also thought that Joaquin Millie did some
Yeah,
incredible
I
saves
agree.
and kept the team in the game. The team in the game. But my flop, I'm gonna say it's Nick Rozagi. I felt like this team showed
Ooh.
up unprepared, underprepared, not unprepared, underprepared, and his adaptation with the subs throughout the game didn't make, and his squad selection didn't make much sense to me, especially given the opponent.
But do we know what happened with Bay and Baya, or
No,
are
like I
they
said,
injured, or is
I
it
The thing is,
coach's selection?
honestly, Riyad Bey is one thing. Clement Baya not being in the starting 11 is not
Not
news to
not
me.
the starting 11,
I
but
have
at least on
not
the
been
bench.
impressed.
No,
Oh,
but
maybe
at least
that
on the
that that's a
bench.
that may be
He wasn't on the
that's true.
bench.
That's true.
but
But
Riyad Bey is way too good to not be in the game day squad. So there's
Clement Baya not playing this game at all, whether he's on the bench or whether he was an unused sub, for me is not news, because there's much more players right now that are in much better form and proposing a lot more than what he is. Even Abzi at right wing, when he came on against Forge, has done more in that half hour than I've seen from Baya offensively all season.
yeah. But that's what I mean. It's still not clear to us, and that's why to me there was a lack of consistency. David Chouanier has been benched, coming off the bench. Not sure why,
No, he
because
hasn't been very good either,
but I
right?
mean, you kind of need some veteran presence when it's going
Yeah,
like the
I
way it was
agree.
going against Vancouver. Anything, literally. Do changes at half. I don't know. I was looking at the subs. I don't know if he did any of the. Not even at halftime, he didn't make any changes. And like you mentioned, the game was boring. They needed a spark. They needed to challenge Vancouver in some way, and they weren't able to. So that's gonna be my flop. I'm not saying that he's a terrible coach. I think he's got a lot to prove, and he's shown us before that he can he can prepare for a game really well. But I just felt like in Vancouver, I don't know if it was a distance they traveled. I don't know if they're still adapting to league, but I felt like it was a game where they FC Super got very lucky that they didn't lose by more, or they didn't lose at all actually. But also I'm sorry guys, I don't know about you, but I think I have a little bit more questions after this tie than answers. The only conclusion I'm getting from this is that Mathis Chrétien is pretty damn good. And I've said that since the beginning, he's solid. And my top, I don't know if I said it, but I said Joaquim Mili, but also Charles Auguste. I absolutely love how he's playing as a rival. So yeah. Okay, I think we just quick minute to talk about the Canadian men's national team. The World Cup is just 17 days away, and as you guys know, at the Ball is Wrong, we are going to cover that. There was an announcement today, right? Hey boy,
the paninis here.
He's got his paninis. Elias, you got
the panini. And look. This is especially for Elias. I opened my first.
Hey, baby.
Very good.
Opened my first packet. There was like 5 stickers in it, and one of them was Lamine Yamal.
Who else did you get? Give us a tour.
One guy from Uzbekistan. One guy from Uzbekistan. One from Tunisia. And
Did you get Prince Owusu?
One from Uruguay.
Too soon.
No. One from Uruguay. and the badge of Ivory Coast.
Come on.
All right.
Not bad.
It's 5 stickers, right, per ticket.
Good. You know what? That's a good pull.
I have 2 boxes to open.
Let's go.
And I have a third one coming tomorrow.
Do it on the stream.
Man, you're crazy, man. You're crazy. I'm gonna do it with my son.
All right, so Elias, I don't know if you have the image of the announcement that was done today. Yes, there we have it for the Charlotte Trading Camp roster. I'm not gonna name them all. If you guys want to, you can look at the video section, or you can look it up in the
Remember, this is not the definitive roster. This is
But I do want to know. These are 32 players. Are there any, just quickly, guys, tell me, are there any surprises, any disappointments that you don't see in this list? Hadi, I'll start with you. And then Elias will close it off first.
We knew because Joshua Cloak talked about it just before this was revealed. But I was surprised that we chose Jamie Knight-Lebel in front of Kamal Miller. I know that Kamal Miller didn't have a great season, and even last year he didn't have a great season, but he's still a veteran that has been part of the team for a long time. At the same time, he wasn't coached properly, and that's why Phil Neville is no longer the coach of Portland Timbers. By the way, he was sacked today. So yeah, I found that a bit weird. That's the only surprise for me. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I'm going to leave Elias with the second pick because I'm pretty sure he's going to talk about Pentemis, right? Greek power.
Yeah. Look. We talked about it last week, right? I understand why Owen Goodman would be selected ahead of James Pentemis, with the fact that he's 22 and the next World Cup he will be in his prime and will very likely be one of the people in pole position to actually start. So I understand, assuming they qualify. So I understand that, but James Pentemis is arguably right now on pure form the best Canadian goalie in the world. And so the fact that he's not going at all because of the inertia that sets in once you're a goalkeeper of the national team, I get it, right? Dane Sinclair and Maxime Crépeau have been solidified over the last, even before Jesse Marsh got here. And so once that inertia sets in, especially the goalkeeper level, it's fine. But James Pentemis deserves to be recognized for how good he's playing. And he was going to get his call up 2 windows ago, and he got concussed, and then he didn't end up making it. And this year should have been at least an invite to the camp. If you want to have 4 goalies at camp and then let one go,
I didn't understand why he didn't have 4 goalies
called up to the camp as a recognition for how good he's playing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
On that list that I see and I go,
yeah, we know. Yeah,
why are you here?
Well, right? We can talk about this if you want to, Elias. Because there's 32 players on that list.
Yeah.
You need to remove 6 of them, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if sorry, I took over Andy, but but like if you look at the six players, for me, there's four players I don't see them go
Go.
with Canada.
Hit it
Quickly,
with it now.
say it quickly. 6.
Quickly, Zoran. No, sorry. 1
Ah,
second. I had them. No, I didn't say.
Bazung is no go.
Daniel,
Stop.
Daniel Jebison, Jamie
Agreed.
Knight Labelle,
yep.
Jaden Nelson,
Okay. We're 3 for 3 now.
Jonathan Osorio.
and unfortunately Joel Waterman.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
There I don't, because that the big question is Cornelius.
For me, Ralph Frizzle goes in.
All right.
Oh,
Elias,
1,000,000%.
Elias, same
Frizzle gets
exercise
in,
for you.
Luc de Fougerolles gets in,
And
so I
Alfie
think
Jones
now-
gets in. Alfie Jones gets in.
I think they're neck and neck.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So
I know.
think it's very
they
close,
are.
and that's why for
But
me,
if I had to
it's not-
choose,
that's fair, right?
if you
But-
have to choose now, who would you choose? Alfie Jones or Waterman?
well, how many center backs am I allowed to bring?
Let's say you have a choice between those two as center backs.
Oh, right
You have-
now.
Yeah, you have Frizo that's in, and the rest are Bombito is going to be in, Cornelius is going to be in.
For me, the four. If you're probably people are probably going to bring 4 center backs, right? It's
Okay.
Bombito, Cornelius, Priso, and De Fougerolles. I think
Yeah.
that's not
I
controversial.
think we're going to have
right?
5 because
If you're going to bring a 5th,
26,
I think
yeah.
it has to be Joe Waterman. I think it has to be Joe Waterman because he
Not
brings
Alfie
something
Jones.
different. No, because he brings something different,
Okay, interesting.
and he has also that
Interesting.
kind of versatility you need. In the same
Interesting.
way that Nico Seeger has that value. We didn't really talk about Nico Seeger last week when we were talking about fullbacks.
Yeah,
Nico
I
Seeger
know.
is for me is ahead of is the third fullback, right? Ahead.
On the right, but he can't play on the left, right?
No, Rich Laria can play on the left better, but if we're talking about purely hierarchical, it's Alfonso Davies,
You would put
Alistair Johnston, and then Nico Seeger. I love
on
Nico
the
Seeger's
left.
game. No, I'm talking about fullbacks on a list.
Okay, no, but we were
Purely.
talking about left back when we talked last week. We weren't talking about right backs.
Yeah, realistically,
Right.
Rich Laria is going to play on the left, and then that's your 4 fullbacks.
Yeah.
It's Johnston, Davies, Larea, and I just said his name. Oh my god, I'm blanking out.
Nico
Seeger, right? So I think that's the whole defense, but I think Joe Waterman gets in there. I think he fits.
Well, see, I'm not saying he does. I think it's going to be very tight between Alfie Jones and Joel Waterman. That's what I think. Don't forget that. I think Zoran Basang is a sure pick. I'm going to tell you why. Because Davies is
How many
injured.
fullbacks you're bringing though?
But one sec, Davies is injured, and he said it. Jesse Marsh, he's not going to be fit for Bosnia game. That's for sure. He said it in the press conference. So, and Richie Lara hasn't played since the 22nd of April. So, like, you need the left fullback.
Okay, but does that mean you're not calling up Rich Larea at all?
Yeah, you are calling him, but at the same time,
Okay, but how many fullbacks can you afford yourself to call up?
you're gonna have 5. You have 26 players. You don't have 23 anymore, right?
I know.
So you have those 3 extra players. It's going to be a center back because you need an extra center back because you're not sure about Moise Bombito. You're going to need an extra left back and then an extra attacker. This is it.
You have 3 goalies, right? You have 3 goalies.
Yeah.
You're down to 23 players.
Yeah.
Realistically, that means you have 2 per position.
Yeah.
That brings you up to 20. Right?
No,
so you have 3.
No, yeah. So
you have 3 spots. You have 3
That's
spots
exactly
left
what I said.
where you can sprinkle. Do you really want to waste 2 of those 3 spots on a center back and a fullback?
You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice, Elias.
I think you
What
do.
are you going to do if
Because
Larea
Ralph
and-
Priso can
do you
play
do?
fullback in a pinch, and I think he's good enough.
Man, the guy doesn't have any experience on the national team.
Guys, okay, look. This is a preview of what it's going to be like the next few weeks when we talk
It's
about
gonna be
Canada
amazing.
soccer in the
It's
World
going to be
Cup.
amazing.
Because you guys can see the boys are getting balled up, but we got an important event in a few minutes. Elias, close us out.
Oh,
All right.
wow. Okay, that was harsh.
All right, and Andy's cutting me off.
Preview.
It's
Leave it at that.
not even 8 o'clock
not-
yet.
Exactly. Like,
It's
what
not
the
even
hell?
my bedtime.
It never
yet.
starts
Come
at
on,
8.
man.
I'm just gonna
Come
smile
on,
to not say anything.
It's way before my bedtime. This is not.
One sec. Are you guys excited for the friendlies?
spot. Okay.
100%.
against
There you go.
100%.
Uzbekistan and Ireland. Yeah, it's
I
gonna be
feel it's
nice.
gonna be very.
I just know that Peru's
But these are
playing
two
friendly.
games
That's
that they
gonna be
have to
fun.
win.
We don't care.
These are
about
two
Peru.
games that you absolutely have to win, and you have to win confidently, right? This is
Yeah.
not a game where you eke out a 1-0 win or a 2-1. No. I want like 2-0, 3-1. I want multiple goal lead here.
You don't have a
You have
choice.
to
You
assert
don't have a
yourself.
choice.
Exactly.
You don't have a choice.
You have to.
And
You
don't
have to
forget
show
that
me
one
that
of the two is playing in the World Cup. Like Uzbekistan
exactly.
is
You have to
qualified.
show me that A, you can score goals, and B, you can break down low blocks because Bosnia is going to show up with the low block. Qatar is going to show up with a low block. Switzerland, no, it's going to be an open game. It's going to be very level,
Switzerland's
right?
gonna kill us, man.
I think it's simple. Okay, but forget the low block and all that. These games are the games that there's no more questions to be asked. Like these are the answers. This is who the Canada team that you're going to see in the World Cup. Like there's no more like, oh well, Jesse Marsh still testing, tinkering, and all that.
No, there's no more
it's,
testing. Now.
It's time. Like that's it. This is the preview to what the games are.
I do think some bubble players are going to get minutes just to see, because look, you still have to whittle your squad down. If you're not going to whittle your squad down, just announce your 26 now.
Yeah, maybe
right?
maybe
as
subs. Maybe as subs, but you're going to start with
your starting has to be let's say you're starting 15, right? Yeah. They are the ones that are going to be starting over the 2 games.
And then maybe in the last 20 minutes, yes, you're going to have those bubble players.
Right. A Joel Waterman, a Kyle Laren,
Ralph Brizo. Did you see what Thomas Miller said on Ralph Brizo?
No.
He said that if he's not selected, it will be a big loss. This guy is fast, strong, and he's going to bring an extra added value for the national team. Like even Thomas Muller,
Ralph Brizo is the future of that back line, 100%.
Very excited. And just to close out, how man, I cracked up when I saw the English national team roster. When I saw that Fikayo Tomori wasn't selected, I'm like, ha 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 ha.
I feel like we as a sporting nation have moved on from this.
No,
but every time he's not selected, and then every time he's not selected, we're reminded. It's like
exactly. I'm like,
because he close out the show.
He could be Jonathan David level inclusion in this squad. Right, imagine him and Moise Bombito together. That is
don't
intelligent, athletic,
don't.
Experience.
He's so stupid. He's stupid.
C'est la vie sometimes. It happens. But I also think that it's not just him being stupid. I think it's England being stupid because let's face it, he's a top center back. I don't blame Fikayo Tomori. I blame England for being dumb.
No, I do because he didn't choose Canada. I blame him.
No, he was. Look, he had an.
I don't care. I don't care.
Guys, this is going to be such exciting
on Hattie's note of inclusion, that will end episode 263 of the Ball is Round podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening. The podcast is free. The podcast will always be free. So we always appreciate you guys tuning in, leaving comments, leaving questions, complaints, everything. Let us know what's on your mind because we always love feedback, but also we love talking about soccer. And if you have thoughts and complaints and all the other nonsense I was talking about before, we'd love to hear it because it just it adds extra value, it adds extra perspectives, and that's what we do at the Ball is Round. Remember to follow us all on social media. We're always online. We're always complaining about every single too many soccer teams, in fact, except for Barcelona Femini, who won the Champions League this Saturday. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk. What's that, Andy? What are you pointing at? I don't see that.
Bayern Munich.
Is that Bayern? Is that lost like 7-1 aggregate to Barcelona in the Champions League semifinal?
And we got to close out, guys. Come on.
Oh, okay. Now we got to close out. Okay, sorry. Before I was so rudely interrupted by Andy's attempt to hijack my conclusion. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Once again, we are also on Patreon. If you feel like lending a helping hand, there's also a free subscription. You get exclusive first looks at all the interviews, all the op watch, all the preview videos, any fun stuff we've got going on. You get a first look a couple days before it's out everywhere else. And so again, your support is always extremely appreciated. We'll be back next week with episode 264 of the Balls Round podcast, where we'll be breaking down the actual real 26-man squad for Canada, and we could argue even more over starting lineups and who got left off and where James Bartemis fits in all of this. But until then, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next.
And
just losing his shit.
Oh yes, and go tabarnak. Go have go on it.
Go, go guys, go.
Go!